Good evening everybody. So today's session is about active and passive voice. So you would have learnt it in schools, but still we will see how we can do that effectively. Now this is the reason why we do the sessions in a particular order. So to do the active and passive voice, you are expected to know about verbs, transitive and intransitive verbs and the tenses. Only then you can transform the sentence from active to passive or from passive to active, maintaining the same tense. That's equally important, right? So we will see some examples and then we will do exercises later, and I want you to be as interactive as you were the other day or even more interactive, right? Let's see. And what is voice and how do you know it is active or passive voice? Only with the help of the verb in a sentence. See, in a sentence like this, Kumar eats a mango. And what is the pattern of the sentence? It is SVO, subject, verb, object. So this is the subject, this is the verb and the object. And what do you mean by the subject of any sentence? If you ask a question, what does the sentence talk about? The answer you get to that question is the subject. The subject of a sentence is the most important thing in the sentence. The rest of the sentence is together called the predicate, and it is the predicate that we again divide into the verb and the object, or the verb and the adjunct, or the verb and the complement. Sometimes the object, we have two objects, the direct and the indirect. So we will see all those sentences. Now can you guess what voice this is? Kumar eats a mango. Is this active voice or passive voice? Let's start with that simple question. From your answer we can proceed. So this is the verb, eats. Okay, I'll give you a clue. See, the active voice is where the subject does something. The sentence is in the active voice if the subject does any action. The person or thing denoted by the subject is the doer of the action. Suppose you write this sentence in the passive voice. A mango is eaten by Kumar. This is the passive voice of this particular sentence. Now this is the subject, the verb, then the object. Now this is very clear. What have we done here? The object has become the subject has become the object. That's the normal change we do. And one thing you have to be careful about is the tense. Now you should know that this is simple present tense, eats. Now the answer should also be in the simple present tense, is eaten. And it also has to agree with the subject. This is where agreement of the verb and the subject also comes in. Now suppose this subject is a plural subject, like instead of a mango, it is mangoes. Then think of the answer with the same simple present tense. Now this active and passive. In the active voice, you see the subject doing something. It is Kumar eating the mango. In this passive voice, a mango is not doing anything. You see, it receives the action. Passive, we know, opposite of active. We are not doing anything. One common thing we hear these days is passive smoking, where the person is not smoking. Somebody else is smoking, but you are being affected by the smoke. You are receiving it. You are being affected. You are suffering, right? So that is passive, where the subject does not do anything, but it suffers or receives or is affected by the action. See, a mango receives the action, but the person who is doing the action is Kumar. Now you see, no meaning is changed here. It's only the form of the sentence where we make the subject the object and the object the subject. And the verb, it has to be in the same tense, the simple present tense. Moreover, this has to agree with the subject. These are the things you have to keep in mind while transforming a sentence from active to passive or from passive to active. And not only that, see, your ability to understand active and passive voice does not stop with just transformation of one form to the other. You should also know when to use active voice and when to use passive voice. We will come to that later, the use of the passive voice. Now, I will give you simple sentences, just make a few changes in the number or in the tense. See if you can transform it to passive. Once this is made clear, we can go to the rest of the topic. Kumar ate a mango. I've just changed the tense. Right? The subject, object the same. Only the verb I've changed from the present to the past tense. Now quick. Change this into passive voice. Kumar ate a mango. Are you posting answers? Okay. Then another question, I've just changed the singular mango to plural mangoes. So how will you write this sentence in the passive voice? Only the number has been changed from singular to plural. Here I have changed the verb from present tense to past tense. Okay. While we wait for the answers, I can tell you the main uses of the passive voice. We use the passive voice when we don't know who has done the action, who has done it, when we don't know the doer of the action. That's the first use. Like the best example is, my bike was stolen. You didn't know who stole it. So you prefer to say, my bike was stolen. By somebody will be ineffective. So we stop with stolen. We don't say my bike was stolen by somebody. Because when we don't know who has done it, it's better not to mention the indefinite pronoun somebody. Somebody, anyone. It's better to omit that. But still you see the sentence is in the passive voice because was stolen tells you that. My bike was stolen. Mango was eaten by Kumar. We have got the answer from Satish. Yes, good. But don't omit the article. It's a mango. A mango was eaten by Kumar is right. Was eaten, right. Right, mangoes were eaten. Now, the answer for this is are eaten and not were eaten. Why? Because you see still the verb is in the present tense. It's not the past tense. Your answer is the answer to the question Kumar ate mangoes. See, if the sentence had been Kumar ate mangoes, then what you have written is right. Okay. There's another question from Mohammed. Mangoes have eaten by Kumar. Now just wait, we'll come to that. It should be have been eaten. Mangoes have been eaten by Kumar is the present perfect tense. I hope you have, all of you who have logged in today have already attended the session on tenses. I hope you have attended that, but still I will mention the tenses when we go from one tense to the other. But this is the basic, the simple present tense and the simple past tense. We saw one example for each and then an example for a singular subject and a plural subject, right? While talking about the use of the passive voice, the first use is when you don't know the doer of the action, right, for which I gave the example, my bike was stolen. The second use is when you don't want to mention the doer of the subject, doer of the action. Even if you don't know who has done it, you don't want to mention. Like a mistake has been made in the announcement. You see a sentence like, you want to be on the safer side, not mentioning the name of the person who has done the mistake. A mistake has been made in the announcement. Now I want you to take down these examples also. Has been made. Now this tells you that the sentence is in the passive voice. Always remember, that's one clue you have, is the passive voice always uses the past participle form of the verb. Somebody was saying the other day the third form, right? That is the past participle form. So the passive voice always uses the past participle. This is the example for the second use when you know the doer of the action but you don't want to mention, just to be on the safer side. You say a mistake has been made in the announcement. You don't, by whom, you just leave it unsaid. The first one is when you don't know the doer of the action. These are examples for these uses. Better take them down in your notebook. Here we stop with this. See, you don't say by somebody, by the chairman. If you know very well that it was the chairman who made the mistake in the announcement of a certain policy, you better leave it unsaid. You don't want to get into trouble, right? So in such cases the passive voice is very, very helpful. The third use is when the doer of the action is very, very obvious, when everybody knows, like he was elected the Prime Minister of the country. Now who elects the Prime Minister? It's the people, right? So it's obvious. So you don't say by the people of the country. Your teeth will be examined. You don't say by the dentist, because that's very obvious. So that's the third use, when the doer of the action is very obvious. It is there also, you leave it unsaid. You don't mention it. And then the last use is when the action is more significant than the doer of the action. When you give more importance to the action. Like if somebody asks you, have you sent the mail, then you can say the mail has been sent, or the mail was sent yesterday, because it is the mail that he is concerned about and not about who sent it. Now these four are examples of the four main uses of the passive voice. The first one is when you don't know the doer of the action. The second is where you know but don't want to mention the doer. The third is where the doer is very, very obvious. Everybody knows who it is. And then the last one is where you want to give more importance to the action and not to the doer of the action. Is that clear? Now have you copied or taken it down in your notebook? Now do we have answers for the previous sentence? Do we have, yeah? There's one question. I'm tired. It's simple present passive or any other like adjective. How we differentiate between these both, either passive or adjective? Yeah, see, it is always in the passive form. Like we don't have an active form for that. It is an adjective, but it is the passive form. He had elected as prime. There's the question is he had elected as prime. No, it should be he had been elected or he was elected. He had elected is the active form. He had elected as prime minister of, no, we don't say that way. Is it right way to, no, it should be he was elected the Prime Minister. And another thing, after elected, chosen, we don't use ASS. Though many people commit the mistake. He was chosen as the president, she was elected as the treasurer, we say, but that's not the right way to say. You should say he was elected the president, she was chosen the leader. No, as after that, after called also, for that matter. Called as, we say, we would have heard many people say this. This is called. Mahatma Gandhi is called the father of our nation. We don't say called as. Similarly, it's not elected as, not chosen as. Okay, right? Apart from that, the passive form, it should be, you should use the word, you should add the word been. He had been elected. Okay. I'm tired, he's scared, frightened, all these are adjectives. Okay. Now, I write a letter. Just a quick glance through all the tenses. We have the same subject and the same object, just the tenses alone we keep changing. Then we go to the rest of the session. No. A letter is written by me. In the meantime, whatever questions you have, please keep posting them. Someone stole my bike, is it right? Of course it is right, but it is better to say that sentence in the passive voice. That is what I was mentioning over and over again, because we have to use the passive voice when the occasion demands it. Because you don't know who stole your bike, right? So this sentence will look weak and ineffective when you start the sentence with an indefinite pronoun, because see, it also falls under the fourth category where the action is more important, right? More than who stole your bike, the action of your bike being stolen is more important. So it's better to use the passive voice in such a case. My bike was stolen, my bike has been stolen. Okay, this is the simple present tense. I am writing a letter. See, though this may seem simple, you have to remember certain things. The number, the tense. I am writing, what tense is it? It's the present continuous. A letter is being. So whenever you see ing in the active voice, you should introduce the word being in the passive voice. A letter is being written by me. Now, it's expected of you to know the past participle of all the verbs, especially the irregular verbs, where the past participle is a completely new word sometimes. It's a different word altogether. Like even the verb write, for example, write, wrote, written. Written is a completely new word. We just don't add ed like the other regular verbs like walk, talk. We form the past tense by just adding ed, walked, and the past participle is also walked, talked. But here it's not so. So it's better for you to memorize all the irregular verbs, the three forms, the present, past and the past participle. Now what's the third tense? The present perfect. I have written a letter. A letter has been. Now why is it has? Because here it's the third person singular. A letter has been written by me. And we don't have the passive form for the fourth tense, which is the present perfect continuous. I have been writing a letter is the fourth tense. In present tense we have 4, in past we have 4, and in future we have 4. So totally there are 12 tenses, out of which we do not have the passive voice for 4 of those tenses. The present perfect continuous, the past perfect continuous, the future continuous, and then the future perfect continuous. So we have the passive form only for the remaining 8 tenses, right? I hope you know all the 12 tenses in the same order. This is better to remember in the same order, like present 4, past 4, and the future 4. Now, coming to the past tense. I wrote a letter. Now, instead of is, it's was. A letter was written by me. And then the past continuous, I was writing a letter. Here, no change to be made here, only the helping verb which indicates the tense has to be changed. A letter was being written by me. And then the past perfect, I had written a letter, had been written. Is that clear? Do we have questions? What is stative voice? I don't know. I've never heard of that. Okay, then the future tense, I will write a letter. Now please listen carefully. Are you all noting down the differences here? A letter will be written by me, the future tense. Then there's no passive for the future continuous. So no need to change here. Then the future perfect, I will have written a letter, will have been. A letter will have been written by me. That is all. These are the 8 tenses which have the passive form, right? No questions yet. Okay. Now we'll have a short exercise. Let me see how well you have understood. It's only from, see, so far we are dealing only with the assertive sentences, the statements, right? We have not come to the questions yet. Only simple sentences, statements. Change all these sentences to the passive form. I'm going to write in the active. Everyone likes him. See, when you change the sentence from active to passive or from passive to active, remember not to change the meaning of the sentence and the tense. You have to remember these two. We chased the thief. The men are constructing a new building. Why we cannot make passive or future continuous tense? It will not make sense. Like if I say, I will be writing a letter, that is the future continuous tense, right? Simple future tense is, I will write a letter tomorrow. Future continuous is, I will be writing. It's not possible to put that in the passive form. Try doing it and you will find it's not possible. Okay. Whatever question you feel like asking, please post. And you can also post answers for these 3 sentences. Remember to find out the verb of the sentence first and then see what tense is it in, and then maintain the same tense when you write the other form. Yeah, correct. You have to post the question number and then type the answer. But here there is no problem. We will still know which sentence it refers to. I have not sold my car yet. She was reading a novel. Okay, let's not come to a question now. We'll stop with sentence number 5. After we discuss the answers, we'll go to questions. All the 5 sentences are just statements, assertive sentences. Yes, hello, what are you doing now? Are you there? Everyone likes him. See, it's a very, very simple sentence. He is liked by everyone. Yes, right, very good. That's the answer. He is liked by everyone is the answer. Right answer. Shashi Bhushan. Yes, good. He is liked by everyone. Is liked is the same simple present. Okay. And you have made this as the object as the subject, and then the subject the object, right? Everybody likes me. How come? See, that's why I said do not change the meaning of the sentence according to your wish. Okay, you want everybody to like you. Yes, that's a fair wish. But the sentence is something else. He is liked by everyone. That's right. Now come to the second sentence. We chased the thief. The thief was chased by us. Good. This is the simple past tense. So we use was chased. And another reason why you use was is the singular subject, the thief. If it is the thieves, what should be the helping verb? Now, Rahman, it is not the thief is chased, because you see is chased is simple present tense. Please listen carefully. Is chased is in the present tense, whereas the question is in the past tense. So the answer should also be in the past tense. The thief was chased by us is right. And it is not them. See, you see, the subject is not they, it is we. So it should be us when it comes to the object. A new building, when I'm constructing a new building. A new building is being constructed by the men. That's right. A new building, that is the object. So bring the entire object to the subject. A new building. Now you see this is the continuous. So you introduce that word being. And from this word are, you know it is the present tense. This tells you clearly that the sentence is in present tense. Am, is, are, these indicate the present tense. And now you see here it is a, please listen carefully here. Here it is a plural subject, so we use are, whereas the answer, you see, it has a singular subject. A new building is singular, so we use is. A new building is being constructed. Constructed is the past participle. That's right, a new building is being constructed by the men. See, when you write the answer, you should know why it is right. And when you see that your answer is wrong, you should know why it is wrong. That way, we won't make the same mistakes again. Okay, the fourth sentence, I have not sold my car yet. My car has not been sold, has not yet been. See, the yet has to come in a different place. My car has not yet been stolen, sold by me. My car has not yet been sold. It's better to omit by me. You can stop with sold. My car has not yet been sold. Present perfect tense, and it's a negative sentence, not, so your answer should also contain not, and place the yet in the proper position. So the correct answer is my car has not yet been sold. Do you want me to write it somewhere? Because nobody has posted the right answer. Just writing it down. My car has not yet been sold. It's better to stop here instead of saying by me, because it's understood, right? She was reading a novel. What tense is it? Past continuous. A novel was being read by her is right. That's good. You have maintained the same tense. Yes, here there's no problem. Singular subject, singular object. Okay, a novel was being read by her. Yes, both the answers are the same. They are right. Now we'll go to questions. The interrogative sentences. Sentences which ask questions. I hope you attended the session on types of sentences. I hope you remember. So all questions come under interrogative sentences. Now look at this. Who did this? This is the active form. It is a question. It is an active voice. Now how will you write this in passive? There's a question from Shashi Bhushan. We can omit out in fourth question. What was the fourth one? I have sold my car. Yes, that's what I said. Yes, it's not necessary to say by me. My car has not yet been sold by me is not wrong, but it's okay if you omit that also. It will be better. The third one also, you see, the men are constructing a new building. It's better to omit the subject there also, see, omit the object. A new building is being constructed. That's enough, because that's obvious, right? The men. Okay. And what is this thing? Past. Crystal hot. Just the word past. What do you mean by that? What question do you want to ask? Please make it clear. Now come back to this. Who did this is in the active form. What will be the passive voice for this question? By whom was this done? Right? Was. Why? Because it's past tense. Did, do, did, done. You see, by whom you bring to the beginning of the sentence. Now there's another question. No, that's not a question. Where we can find your previous. Okay, okay. Sudhir will answer. Okay. Did anyone try the answer for this one? Okay. Which movie did you see? Now try this one. Who has done this is also in the active voice. Who did this? Active voice. Who has done this? Active voice. Only difference is in the tense. Here it is the past tense. Who has done this? It is in the present perfect tense. Who does this? Simple present tense. Who is doing this? Present continuous tense. Who will do this? Simple future tense. Who will be doing? As future continuous, right? See, I want you to be thorough with all the tenses. Okay. Try this. Which movie did you see? That's a question you often ask your friends. Are you trying? Which movie was seen by you? Okay, is that clear? Remember to maintain the same tense. That's one thing to keep in mind. Now I'll give you 5 more sentences from active to passive. Before that, we'll see the imperative sentence also. Remember the imperative? The third type of sentence is the imperative, which talks about commands, orders, instructions, requests, suggestions, advice. Everything comes under imperative. This is the third type of sentence. Totally there are 4: assertive, interrogative, imperative and exclamatory. Okay, now bring the book. This is an example for an imperative sentence. Now how will you change that into passive? Which movie has been seen by you? See, please listen now. This answer you have posted, Shashi Bhushan, which movie has been seen by you, is in the present perfect tense, whereas the question given was in the past tense. Which movie did you see? Did, past tense. If the question was which movie have you seen, then this answer that you have posted is right. Which movie has been seen by you is in the present perfect tense, right? Bring the book. So for all imperative sentences, the passive voice should begin with the word let. Let the book. Now let, then the object, and then be brought. Let the book be brought. Again, it's not necessary to say by you, right? We don't need this. It's understood. Let the book be brought. Open the door. Let the door be opened. Right? That's right, but only thing is the article, you have changed it from the to a. Okay? If it is bring a book, then that's right. Let a book be brought. Everything has to be maintained the same, the tense, the articles, okay. When we learn articles, you will see what a world of difference is between a book and the book, okay. Now I'll give you the remaining 5 sentences which will also contain the interrogative and the imperative. Now that I have taught you how to change the interrogative and the imperative from the active to the passive, you can easily do this. Who broke the window? Normally boys who play cricket do this in the neighborhood, right? Easy ones. Now, a negative imperative. Do not insult the poor people. Another interrogative. When will you submit the project? The last one. I had already visited Agra. Okay. Yes. The sixth one, who broke the window? Has anybody posted the answer for that? Who broke the window? See, because this is a question, remember to write your answer also in the question form. You have to, Shashi Bhushan, you have to just change the word order. The answer should begin with by whom. Remember we did an example, no? Who did this? By whom was this done? Same way it should be by whom. By whom, somebody else has started the answer with, but it is by the whom. Why the? So fond of the. It should be by whom. By whom was the window broken? That's another thing to remember. Maybe we'll discuss it here. See, in a question, the subject is introduced between the helping verb and the main verb. Please listen carefully, all of you. Just stop thinking about the answers for the other questions. Now, for the moment, you just look at the board. By whom was the window broken? This is the subject. This is the helping verb. This is the main verb. So, in a question, you put the subject between the helping verb and the main verb. So, you should not frame the question like by whom the window was broken. That's not right. If you say by whom the window was broken is not right. Why? Because you have to bring the subject between the helping verb and the main verb. Okay. The same example, you go back to the same example we did. By whom was this done? Was done. This we brought between was and done. Okay. Any questions about this? The window, by whom was the window broken? Yes. By whom was the window broken is right. The next one, close the door. Let the door be closed is right. Yes, very good. Very simple, very easy. 8. Do not insult the poor people. That's a negative imperative where you have not. Let not the poor people be insulted. Right. You need not write by you. Just stop with insulted, then the sentence will be more effective. Let not the poor people be insulted. It's a general thing, right? Not only by you, by everybody else. Though the subject of every imperative sentence is you. Okay, the next one. When will you submit the project? When will the project be submitted by you? That's right, very good. When will the project, now you see, will the project be submitted by you? Here by you is important because you are asking it, asking a specific person. You're not asking in general to a whole group, right? When will the project be submitted by you? The last one, I had already visited Agra. The last sentence, I had already visited Agra. No answers for that? That's very easy. In the past perfect tense, not much of a change is required, except to introduce the word been. It's Agra had already been visited by me. Had, but this is where you have to place already, like the other sentence where we had the word yet. My car has not yet been sold. So where to place yet, where to place already, between had and been. Agra had been already. Yes, no harm if you say Agra had been already visited by me, but you've omitted the word already. See, it's not has already been visited. Please be careful about the tense. Now this is had, past perfect. Only if it does have, then you can use has here. I have already visited is present perfect tense. Then the answer will also be in the present perfect tense. Agra has already been visited by me. But here it is past perfect. So remember to write the answer in the past perfect. Agra had been visited. Okay. Now this is with the simplest of the sentence patterns, which is the SVO. Now the next sentence patterns we'll see is the SVIODO, where the sentence, where the verb has two objects. So naturally it is clear that intransitive verbs cannot be written in the passive voice, because the intransitive verbs are those verbs which do not take objects after them. I went, she came. Those sentences can never be written in the passive voice. She came to my house. Try changing it into the passive. It's not possible. It doesn't make sense. So only transitive verbs can be written in the passive voice. So what are transitive verbs? Those verbs which take objects after them. Now there are some verbs which take two objects after them, like she gave me a book. Now listen carefully here. Subject, verb, and there are two objects, and we touched upon this in session. This is the direct object, and how to find out the direct object when there are two objects? You ask the question what or whom. The answer to the question what or whom is the direct object. The answer to the question to whom or for whom is the indirect object. Now how will you write the passive voice for this particular sentence when there are two objects? Yes, we have a question from Shashi. Ma'am, can we use you are asked to, you are requested to, you are advised to in imperative? Yes, of course. That's right. It is the passive voice. You are instructed to. Yeah, we can. You are expected. Yes. Try this one. Actually, there are two ways of doing it, because there are two objects. So, you know, in each of these answers, one object can be made the subject. A book was given to me by her. Yes, right. A book was given to me by her is right. Try the other answer. Now you have made the direct object the subject. Try this one. When you change me from object to the subject, what is the word? In the subject position, what does me become? Okay, one answer is a book was given to me by her. Right. Second, you're going to make this the subject. I was given a book. Is that clear? See how easy it is. I was given a book by her. Yes, I was given a book by her. That's right. So can we do some exercise with SVIO Devo pattern? Remember to maintain the same tense and not to change the meaning of the sentence. That's one thing that people commonly do. Just 3 sentences. Not much. Mr. Ramasamy taught me English. Identify the 2 objects. Now I want you to do both the answers, right? You have to make the direct object the subject in one sentence and then the indirect object the subject in the next sentence. I have bought her a new pen. We grant you permission. Yes. Now please post the answers. Let's see how well you have understood this particular pattern. SVIO Devo. Try first with English as the subject. English was taught to me by Mr. Ramasamy. Is right. Good. What's the next one? With me. Somebody else. English was taught to me by, yes, that's right. English was taught by Mr. Ramasamy. I was taught what? Yes, good. I was taught English. I was taught English by Mr. Ramasamy. That's right. That's the second one. Okay, good. Go to the next one. I have bought her a new pen. Now remember to keep the same tense, the second sentence. The English was taught to me by, no, never use the before English as a proper noun, name of a language. But we can use it in particular ways, like if you say the English he speaks is good, there it's okay to say the English, because you refer to his particular way of speaking English or his language, his style, right? There it's okay, but otherwise generally we should not say the English. Before proper nouns we should not use the. Okay. A new pen has been bought by me for her. Yes, good. Yes, one answer is that, right? What's the other one? No, it's bought, not brought. Bought is right. Jagsir Singh has written brought. Bought and brought are 2 different words. Bought is the past participle of buy. Brought is the past participle of bring. If it's just a typing mistake, it's okay. Otherwise, you have to be careful about that. Okay, what's the next answer for the second sentence? Now, quick. What about this? Begin the sentence with that. Her, when it becomes the subject. Gifted. Now you are introducing a new verb. Now why not retain the same verb? It should be the same verb, it should be the same tense. Now you have changed the verb, you have changed the tense also. Yes, that's right. She has been bought a new pen. Yes, correct. She has been bought a new pen by me. Okay, the last one, we grant you permission. Quick, we have something more to finish. We grant you permission. This is the IO, this is the Devo. Permission is granted by us. Yes, good. Permission is granted to you or granted you by us. Yes, that's right. Now the next, with you as the subject. She has been, that's incomplete. Now Shashi, you can try the second answer. The first one is right. Permission is granted to you by us. The second answer should begin with you. I've given you the clue. You are granted. See, you are, because we are running short of time. I had to write the answer. Couldn't wait for you. You are granted permission. Same tense, you see. Simple present. Because it's you here, we use are. Permission. Yes. Now these are the things you have to be careful about. Permission is granted. Simple present tense. You are granted, simple present tense. We grant, simple present tense. So whatever form you are writing should be in the same tense. Okay. See, actually these are very, very basic levels. After these sessions are over, maybe we'll do the advanced level in active and passive, in everything. We have something more, a higher level of learning. Okay. Then we talk about SVOC sentence pattern, the subject verb object complement. Okay. She made me the leader. Now you see, this is the subject, verb, object, and why is this called the complement? Complement E. Because we do need this to complete the sentence. Otherwise you read the sentence, she made me. It looks incomplete. This is very, very important to complete the sentence. So that which completes the sentence is the complement of a sentence. Now here it talks about the object. So it's the object complement. Normally a complement talks about the subject. If I say she is a teacher, then the teacher, a teacher is the complement. It talks about the subject she. Here it talks about the object. Sometimes we say OC, but it's even otherwise it's okay. SVOC. Now how will you change this from active to passive? She made me the leader. Do we have questions? What is this? Passive or adjective? It is adjective. I'm tired, I'm scared, he's frightened. She made me the leader. Now you know there's no confusion at all here because there's only one object. So I was made the leader by her. This one you want me to explain, the complement, which was the question, the passive or adjective. Okay, just 2 more sentences with this, we'll finish it off and come back to that. With this the topic will be over. No. I kept him waiting. Okay, SVOC. Now you see, in sentences like this, if you omit the complement, the sentences look incomplete. I kept him waiting. What is the passive form for this sentence? The leader was to be made by her. No, it's not the leader was to be made by her. That's a completely different thing. Was to be made. Then the active form should be like she was to make her leader. Whereas it is she made me the leader. See here, the action is complete. If the sentence is like she was to make me leader, that was a plan, right? Then this one is right. The leader was to be made by her. That's a different thing. Is it the only way? Which is the only way? Passive for the question. Now please type your questions clearly. Whatever you want to ask, please post them clearly. Here, this one, I kept him waiting. Did you try the answer for this one? This is in the active voice. No answers yet. He was kept waiting by me. Or he was kept waiting. Omitting the by me part. He was kept on waiting. Okay, there's a slight difference. Was kept on waiting just talks about the period of time, the duration, for a longer period of time. I kept on waiting. I kept on writing. I kept on reading. But here is just kept. I kept him waiting. He was kept waiting by me. Okay. He made the servant do the work. He made the servant do the work. Another thing to notice here is we don't use to here. We should not. Though you will hear many people using it. See, he made the servant to do the work is not right. He made the servant do the work. We call that a bare infinitive. An infinitive without the word to before that. Okay. After verbs like made, help, help him learn is right. It's not help him to learn. After verbs like help, make, let, we don't use to before the infinitive. Okay, try the answer for this one. It's almost time. Now, if you have identified the subject verb object, then it's very clear. At least a few people who posted answers for the other questions can try this one. Nothing difficult here, just the object should be made subject, and then the rest of the sentence. Just have this sentence. Yes, the servant was made to do the work by him. Yes, that's right. Very good. The servant was made to do the work. There we have to use to. We cannot say the servant was made do the work, right? In the passive form, we have to use the word to. The servant was made to do the work by him, right? Very good. That's right. Okay. So we come to the end of the session. I hope something useful has been learnt in this session. So then we go on to the advanced sessions. We will learn more and more. Like there's a vast thing to learn. So only a bit of the topic is being covered here. This is a very basic level. Just transforming a sentence from active to passive, and we haven't done from passive to active. And the use of the passive is more important. Remember to use the passive in 4 situations. When you don't know the subject or the doer of the action, when you know the subject very well, and then when the action is more important than the doer, when we don't want to mention the doer. So in such cases, see, in speaking and in writing, you have to mix both. You cannot use the active throughout or the passive throughout. Then it will look very dull and monotonous. There has to be variety when you speak or write. And it has to be the apt situation where you choose to use which one. Okay, the next session next week is on the articles, and then we have the agreement of the verb with the subject. So I want you to keep attending the sessions, and not only that, go back to the previous sessions, revise whatever we have already learned, because we keep referring to the terms. So unless you are thorough with the terms we have already learned, it becomes difficult for you to understand, right? Okay, then spread the word to your friends, ask them to visit the website and then register themselves for the course, because very soon we will be beginning a second batch on communication skills, right? Until then, bye.